All right. Other thing we got to talk about. What's the deal with Rossi's contract? Like, there's so much going around, and like, depending on the day, you'll get completely different reaction from fans on whether he should be traded, kept, what he's worth. Do we do short term, bridge?
Well, I haven't seen the. I haven't seen any of the. Again, I don't scroll Twitter anymore. I just pretty much any Rossi tweets that I see are either from like our 5 friends, Russo, or people replying to me when I tweet out a video of him scoring or assisting on a goal, which is like him on 70% of the Wild goals this season at this point. But I mean, just real quick, another 3 assists the other night. He has surpassed his total from last year, both points and assists. Like, just given the fact that like they didn't make big moves outside of Trenyan, who got fucking scratched. The fact that like we were like the one guy that if he could take a step forward, Rossi, that's going to be like an addition of itself. He's like far surpassed that. And at this point, like,
love him. I'm
really hoping, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, really hoping they're not like, yeah, but like, you know, it's all right. Like when Yurov comes over, he's the center because like he's basically playing wing exclusively right now in Russia. And
now is that a Russia
don't tell Baki, but his face-off numbers have been brutal.
Yeah,
Baki,
watching out.
Great.
But no, like, looks great. No, but is it a Russia thing that he's playing wing, or like was he not playing well at center, so he got moved to wing?
No, he's fluctuating back and forth, but he's playing a lot better on the wing, like scoring more goals and just involved more offense. He's been mostly because he's been on the wing. I'll bring it up when we do the full-on roundup, but like his shot totals right now are fucking bananas. Like I was looking earlier at the last like couple games. It's like 7 shots on goal, 14 shot attempts. I'm like, oh my God, he's just gripping it and ripping it. And it's like Metalurg's kind of an average team this year after winning it all last year. So I don't know. He's just like, give me the fucking pill, fucking ripping it. But like, I don't even know what to think with the Ross thing anymore because like, I don't know, like you were mentioning before we went live here, what Russo said.
Yeah, I can reiterate that. And again, this is paraphrasing for sure, but essentially said like, you know, at this point, if Rossi would accept a 7-by-7, the Minnesota Wild would agree immediately and 10 minutes later hold the press conference. Like, that was weird to me because that's very different from the tenor of like a month ago. And nothing's really changed. He's just kept doing what he's been doing.
Well, if not just getting better, where like, you know, at the start of the year, he would do something. He had like one bad shift and Hines would like bench him for 6 minutes. And then the next shift, he would go out there and like tie the game up with 2 minutes left or like assist, or he's factoring in somehow, some way. And it's just like, you know, there's the comments, but they're not ready to like commit long-term. And then after a while, like he's just been so fucking consistently good. Like, I mean, again, I think there's probably been 3 or 4 games maybe this year where like, he had an off night, like in totality. But like, he is one of the big reasons that despite them losing half of the roster at one point this year, they were still like winning games, or in games they're losing, they were competing and still scoring because of him. And like, especially when Boldy has not been the same Matt Boldy that like, especially the start of this year, but like just as early since he's coming to the NHL. But Marco Rossi has just continued to score. Like he's played on different lines. He's been used in different situations and he's just been producing. So at this point, like, yeah, I don't really know what more they need to see to feel comfortable about going long-term, unless, again, like this is another thing we were saying before we went live, like they have a good idea of either like a player they want to target or the mold of a player they want to target, and like a 5'9" center who's not the most fleet of foot isn't on the top of their list. Like, again, he plays like he's fucking 6'2". I love when he just decides to get into scrums. It's so funny when he just decides to like piss everyone off. Like, again, the Matthew Tkachuk thing where he rolls his eyes as he's getting punched in the back of the head. It's so funny. Like, this is just when he is at his, like, especially the OHL, he was doing that shit every fucking night. But like, he's just under a point per game at this point. He's surpassed his assist and point total from last year. He's trending. He's like on pace for 30 goals. Like, he is a top 6 center in the NHL right now. And if you can get him, if it's true that like if they could get him a 7x7, they would do it immediately. Like, yeah, I would also do that right now.
But the biggest thing with the whole Rossi situation is what's his fit? Because it's not even as simple as who's in the pipeline, right? Like, it's the worst kept secret in the league right now that Brock Nelson's probably signing here this summer. Like, that's probably happening. Brock Nelson plus Ek plus Rossi. Those are 3 guys that all probably profile as being a second or third line center. Do you think that Rossi has done enough to say, I am absolutely a 1C and can go toe to toe with other 1Cs if we're going to be?
I still think he's a 2. I still think like he's a 2.
So if they bring in
7x7s, especially now, that's a 2C contract.
Sure, but they bring in Nelson, keep Ek. What does that end up looking like?
I don't even know how they. Yeah, I mean, there you go. So I guess at that point,
I'm asking,
which is nuts. That's a bad idea. Like, it's a terrible idea.
But the problem is, Z, I don't even disagree with you. It's Brock Nelson is through and through a Bill Guerin guy. Like, that is to a T the kind of player that he loves, and I think he's a great player. Is he worth a long-term deal, which he's going to command? Like, I was talking to Joe about it earlier today when we were recording at the X, and he flat out was like, yeah, like, maybe I'd give him 4 years. I'm like, you think he's signing for 4 years? You're fucking crazy.
Well,
like,
I mean,
yeah, probably.
At the start of next season, he's 34 years old.
No, he's not.
Brock Nelson?
Brock Nelson? No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He turns 30. He turns 34 October 15th.
How is that possible? He was the same class as you, dude.
No, he's not.
We established you're the same age as my brother and Isha, right?
No.
Oh, you're younger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, he's their age, and 33 is... Wait, what the heck?
I'm telling you, he's turning 34 at the start of next season.
Maybe War Road has, like, weird school practices, because, like, dude, he played against my brother. That math doesn't work for me, but that's what it says on the internet, and if it's on the internet, it's fucking true. That's all we know.
Yeah. So, again,
weird.
like...
So
that's
what's
really weird to me about, like,
what's is he gonna want a pay increase from the $6 million that he's getting now?
I don't know. He's not trending like a fucking that's why I was like, that would be a crazy thing. Like, if it's like, especially if a Rossi trade, which again, I don't think they actually want at this point. I don't think they want to trade him. I think at the start of the year it was like, yeah, we don't really know because he doesn't look like your prototypical fucking like 1 or 2C.
Let's be real. They still want to trade him. They can't.
They can't.
Yeah. They don't have a choice now. Like, fans would lose their collective minds. I would be mad. I'd be mad.
It would be fucking insane if
Rossi for Cousins.
The buyouts are done. A bunch of those top prospects make the NHL next season, but then they move out the fucking one top 6 center, like out and out top 6 center that they drafted in the top 10
ever
in order to sign a 34-year-old from Minnesota, just because he's from Minnesota. He's gonna put up 20 goals like for 2 or 3 more years. They're like, well, we had to do it. So again, I just don't think that makes any sense. And again, like, let's say they somehow make the money work and Brock Nelson's here next year. Yeah. Eriksson Ek still can be a 3C and be just as effective. Because I mean,
right. But the argument is, who's the 1C?
At that point, like, we've seen Rossi play with Kaprizov.
But can you contend with that? is the question. I'm not saying whether we can or can't.
I think, yeah, probably, because like Kaprizov's the one driving the offense on that. Like he's one of those players on the wing that can drive offense.
He's the de facto.
Right.
Like,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Take draws. Yeah.
Since, I mean,
you be careful here.
Probably since 2017, 2018, it's been the same thing with David Pastrnak in Boston, where it's like, yeah, Patrice Bergeron put up good points with him, but like David Pastrnak is the primary driver of offense from the wing, and he definitely is right now. But that was on a team that was challenging for cups.
I was worried you were going to say the wrong fucking name.
No.
You know? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
If you fucking,
I would never do that.
I would. This show would be over. Not today, like forever.
We're done.
All right, Chad Gale on the Kaprizov thing. The great thing about Kaprizov is he plays great on both ends. 97 sets up plays. He wins majority of the board battles. Very hard to knock off the puck. Good speed, great hands, and shot. Chad Gale. This is a burner account for Kaprizov's agent, I think. No, but it's well put. Well put. Can't Rossi get offer sheeted? I don't think so. Isn't he outside of that like qualification status for a certain reason? Or maybe not.
If I knew how to fucking work Puckpedia, I'd tell you.
If he gets offer sheeted, all right, we got to address this real quick just while it's up here. Let me see. What is because cap friendly is where I would have gone before. I'm just gonna see what happens. Offer sheet compensation NHL. Oh boy.
Tell you what though, the one really cool thing that Puckpedia has, if you pull up a player's profile, it tells you what stick they use.
That's cool. I like that. Wait, would it do that if it was like throwback to Crosby where he didn't want to use a Reebok stick, but he was sponsored by Reebok, so he just had the blacked out stick? Would it say blacked out stick, or would it actually tell us which stick it is?
Would it know? Would it know?
Austin Matthews, goalie stick. That was awesome.
Yeah, fuck.
All right. Based on what I'm seeing here, so let's just say Rossi was offer sheeted in the threshold we were talking about there, $7 million. He would return us a first, second, and third from the team that offer sheeted him. Do you accept that, or does that bother you?
That bothered me. Yeah, no thanks.
And so 7 is like at the bottom of the threshold. It's 6.87 up to 9.16. So let's say it was an $8 million offer sheet. Like if you're Bill Guerin, are you matching 8 million, or are you saying I'll take the picks? It's tough. It's not designed to be an easy question. If it's below that 6.87, you're absolutely just matching and moving on with your life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more, I guess, but
the 8 to 9 million range is where it gets a lot hairier.
Right. And I don't know how many teams would do that either way.
Oh, there's teams that would. There's teams that need centers.
Well, yeah. Boston Bruins.
It'd be awesome if it was Columbus and then Dean's still like, no.
Dean's like, great. You're going to be great in Cleveland.
How awesome is it, though, that like Columbus has been the feel-good story this year?
Dude, and they're so fun to watch. What Zach Werenski's doing right now, too, is absurd.
Dude, how about
Marchenko?
Hang on. How about the free game for Fantilli putting up the Hattie?
That was incredible. Big fan.
You're familiar with the term, right? I don't know if all of our listeners are with what the free game is.
Yeah.
So the free game, essentially, he went home to play in Toronto, where he's from. The free game basically means he's spending his entire paycheck to give as many people tickets as possible.
Yeah, how many did they say that he ended up fucking?
It wasn't 100, but it was more than 50.
Which is,
I think it was 70 something, and he gets the fucking hat trick, dude. That's so cool.
Exactly why I don't have many friends. You know, that situation, I wanted to avoid that. Just why.